It's a shame about Ray. In the stone under the dust, his name is still engraved. Some things need to go away. It's a shame about Ray. Hello there, my name's Adrian, and I was going to say today we're going to be looking at the grunge classic It's a Shame About Ray by the Lemonheads, but I don't know if it's exactly grunge. The Lemonheads certainly came out in that kind of period and were lumped in with other bands in that scene, but I don't know if that's exactly how you describe it. But whatever way you want to look at it, it's a fantastic song written by Evan Dando, who is, in my opinion, one of the great songwriters of recent years. And it's a really easy song to play if you're in the early stages of learning to play guitar. You just need 4 simple open chords and you can play a really great tune. So I'm going to show you how to play this song in a couple of different ways. You can play it in a really basic way using standard first position open chords, which sounds good and is really easy to do. Then if you want to play it in a slightly more authentic way, exactly like it's done on the record, there are a couple of more unusual chords that are being used, some interesting chord inversions. So if you're a little bit more advanced, then you can have a go at playing those. Now I want to start by just outlining the basic chord progression we've got here. We're in the key of A. We're going to start with a bar of A, so 4 beats on an A chord, then 4 beats on an E chord, then 8 beats or 2 bars on a D chord. 1, 2. Then we go back to the A chord for another bar, to E again for a bar, and this time we go to G for a bar, and then back to D for a bar. And that's the entire chord progression. It's an 8-bar chord progression which repeats like that throughout the entire song. The verse and the chorus are the same chords. If you want to play it in a straightforward way, that's the way I'd recommend you do it. As far as the rhythm goes with the right hand, I would suggest you try this kind of rhythm: the down, down, up, up, down, 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 up, up, down, 1, 2 and 3 and 4. As usual, when you're strumming, just keeping your right hand moving up and down at all times. I've actually done a lesson on this particular strum in my beginners series of lessons. If you're not too confident with your right hand, you might want to have a look at that lesson. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play through the entire 8-bar chord progression using this strum and using the simple open chords so you can hear how it all fits together. So we're starting with an A chord, 2, 3, 4. To E, to D for 2 bars, back to A, E, to G, back to D. That's the 8-bar progression. Then we just go around again as many times as you like. Just keeps repeating that same chord progression as I said. So that's the simplest, most straightforward way to do it, and it sounds pretty good. But I want to spend the rest of the lesson just looking at exactly how it's done on the recording. And as I said, there's a couple of really nice, more unusual chord inversions in there. So we're going to start off, we're still going to play an A chord as our first chord, a bar of that. I'm going to recommend that you play this with a first finger bar rather than using all 3 fingers, just because it makes it easier with the upcoming chord change. So we're going to play an A like this. We've got the open A string and then we're barring at the 2nd fret on the 4th, 3rd and 2nd strings with the first finger. So that's our A chord. Now instead of going to an open position E chord, we've actually got this on the recording, which which is, technically speaking, it's an inversion of an E chord. It's an E with a G sharp note in the bass, which is, it's quite an unusual fingering, this one, but it's definitely what's happening on the recording, and it sounds really, really nice if you can get this right. So the fingering we've got is we're playing the low G sharp, that's at the 4th fret on the low E string, play that with our 3rd finger. Then we're playing the 2nd fret on the 5th string and on the 4th string with our 1st finger. We're barring across those 2 notes with our 1st finger. And then with our little finger we're playing the 4th fret on the 3rd string. So it feels a little bit awkward. I think that's just because it's an unusual fingering, but you soon get used to it. So we've got these 4 notes, and I think you can sometimes hear the 2 open strings ringing as well, the open high E and B. They come through occasionally on the recording as well. So that's what we're going to play instead of our E chord. It's technically speaking, it's an E with a G sharp in the bass. So we've got a bar of that. Then we're going to D for 2 bars. And I think again on the recording I can hear the open high E string occasionally. So if you just lift up your 2nd finger when you're playing a standard D chord, you get what's known as a D sus2 chord. And it's just got a slightly different colour to the D chord. So you can use that D sus2 instead of D, or you can combine it with D, but it's just a nice extra flavour just to have that D sus2. Then we're back to A, another bar of A, another bar of our E with the G sharp in the bass. Then we're going to our G chord, and the particular chord voicing that Evan Dando uses is this one. We've got the 3rd fret on the low E string with the 3rd finger, 2nd fret on the A string with the 1st finger, open D, open G, playing the 3rd fret on the 2nd string with my 3rd finger, and I've actually got an open high E in there as well. So technically I suppose this is a G6 chord, but you can think of it just as being like a normal G. It's got just a little extra colour in there. So that's what we're going to be playing for our G chord. Then we're changing to this. So instead of playing a D, we've got another chord inversion, which is where you play a chord with a different bass note from the root note that you normally have. So this is a D with an F sharp note in the bass. So I'm playing an F sharp with my 1st finger at the 2nd fret on the low E string. I'm just muting the A string, I'm just leaning into that with the underside of my 1st finger. Then I've got an open D string. I'm playing the 2nd fret on the G string with my 2nd finger, and I'm playing the 3rd fret on the 2nd string with my 3rd finger. My 3rd finger stays where it is from the previous G chord actually. So that's our D with an F sharp in the bass. If you like, you can let that high E string ring in there as well. And that's the end of the 8-bar chord progression. So let me play that through for you with the strum as well, the down, down, up, down, up strum, and you can hear how that works. So starting with our A, barred with the 1st finger, E with the G sharp in the bass, D sus2, back to A, E with G sharp in the bass, G or G6, D with an F sharp in the bass, and then we start the cycle again, and it keeps on going around. Somebody at the door, it's probably the postman, but I'm going to ignore that because I'm in the middle of filming a lesson. So I've lost my train of thought now. There's one other bit that I need to teach you, and that is the little single note riff which comes at the start of, he's not. I'm going to have to stop the camera and come back to you and answer the door. Sorry. There we go, a couple of interesting looking packages. I will open those later. Where was I? I was just talking about this single note riff, which comes at various points in the song, so it's really nice if you can play that as well. Pretty straightforward to play. We're starting with an F note here, which is first fret on the low E string. Then we're playing the third fret on the A string. Then we're playing the second fret on the D string, and we're hammering on our third finger to the third fret on the D string. So it's a little hammer on there. So we're just picking the second finger, the note that the second finger is playing, and hammering on with our third finger. Then we're going back to the note at the second fret, playing that again, and then we're playing the note at the third fret on the A string one more time. So we've got slowly. One more time. Hammer on, back to the second fret, and just speed that up a little bit. Sounds great, this riff, with masses of distortion as well. So it's this is a song that works equally well on acoustic and on electric guitar. And on the recording you can hear both. There's sort of layers of acoustic guitar and electric guitars. But if you're playing it on electric guitar, that's playing this riff, that's certainly an opportunity to stomp on a filthy sounding fuzz pedal, and it sounds really fantastic. So. Well, I think that about covers it. I'll leave it to you to piece together the structure of the song, maybe print off the lyrics or something so you can sing the tune and try and play it all the way through. But as I say, it's the same chord progression all the way through the song for the verses and for the choruses, and just occasionally there's that single note riff thrown in as well. So hope you have a lot of fun learning to play this song, and I hope to see you for another lesson again very soon. Bye bye.